What's up? What's good? It's your girl. No, I'm just playing. That's not my intro. Stop. I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. Um, so in today's video, I'm basically gonna be showing you guys step by step how to do your makeup, what makeup kind of is, not really, but like what you need to do your makeup as a beginner. So if you're a beginner and you want to learn, then just keep watching. If not, someone's calling me. I gotta go. Let's continue on the videos. Look, look. Me and you, we got something going in this video. I need you to stay tuned because we gotta be here. So I ain't even gonna say no more. I ain't even gonna say no more. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so anyway, on a serious note, the purpose of this video is to educate you, the person who doesn't know anything about makeup, educate you, the person who maybe does know something about makeup but doesn't know everything about makeup. No one else. That's it. That's it. If you know all these things, that's fine. You can watch the video anyway if you want to support me. I would appreciate it. You feel me? If not, no hard feelings. Just don't watch the video. Quick disclaimer. My eyebrows are on. I need to film my eyebrow routine, but I haven't. I'm lazy. Sue me. But I will one day. So anyway, first things first. Who I am really doesn't matter in this video. Because I'm here to teach you. But my name is Vivian, aka Curly Rose. If you don't know who I am, baby girl, you will. No. I'm just playing. But no, seriously. So you don't have to do every single thing that I'm going to say as far as the steps, but it's just something that I wanted to make for you guys because I know a lot of people don't really know too many things. They don't know why you have to use this. What does it do? You know, why do we have to do all these things? So like I said, did my eyebrows already. They take too long. Wasn't going to do all that. First things first. You have to figure out your skin type. That's the first thing. You can't go anywhere else if you don't figure out your skin type. So there's 3 options to figure out. Dry skin is one of them. Oily skin is the second one. And the third one is combination skin, which is a mixture between the first and the second one. So I have dry skin. I figured it out. I've had dry skin pretty much my whole life. I know I'm dry skin, so for me, I would go in with something called primer, and there's a specific kind of primer that I would have to use for my skin type. So primer is something that you use to basically help make your makeup last longer. Primer can be used to fill in your pores. Primer can be used to prevent you from getting oily. Primer can be used to prevent creasing. There's different kind of primers. Primer can be used to give you a radiance, some type of glow underneath your foundation. So you just have to really figure out what kind of primer it works best for you. So for me, I'm going to show you guys what primer I'm going to use today. Pretty much everything in this video is drugstore, by the way. Save you some coins. I'm going to try to give you guys 2 options or 2 alternatives for the things I'm going to mention today. The first 2 things are they're both drugstore. This is by Milani. This is by Maybelline. This one is the Prime Perfection Face Primer. It's hydrating and it also is supposed to minimize pores, and it's oil free, and that's on the actual container. The next thing is the Maybelline Master Prime Primer Base, which is supposed to hydrate and smooth my skin. I'm kind of going to mix these 2 to kind of show you guys what they do, which I think I did mix these in my actual like foundation routine video. So just click the card somewhere up above if you guys want to watch that video. It will pop up for you. So basically, because I have dry skin, I get primers that mainly hydrate. Everything else is just a bonus, like the pore minimizing. That's really just a bonus for me. So I'm literally just going to put this all over my face. Okay, so once you get your primer on, you're going to look crazy. Whatever, don't worry about it. You're going to need some kind of sponge. So, I say sponge because, now I'm just blending out the primer with this because I'm tired of looking like this. But I say sponge because I'm assuming that you're not someone who knows too much about like brushes and how to use them, your eye shape, certain things that eventually as time goes on you guys will understand. But for now, I'm just under the impression that you don't know anything about makeup and you're just confused about everything. That's just the simplest way to put it, because I want to educate any and everybody, even people who know what I'm saying and people who don't. So I'm literally just assuming you don't know anything. So what a beauty sponge is basically just a sponge that's going to blend in anything that's on your face. This is a beauty blender. It retails for about $20. No, for $20. They have drugstore sponges. You don't have to buy this one. I know $20 is a pretty big coin for most people. So there's another alternative, which is called Real Techniques Beauty Sponges. You get 2 in a pack. I believe they retail for $7.99. You can buy this or you can buy that, and I'll link it down below. I own the Real Techniques sponges. I go back and forth. I've used them before on my channel. So anyway, I'm using this in this whole demo of everything. So just to recap, you need to figure out your skin type. You need to figure out what kind of primer you want to use, and then you also need to figure out what kind of tool you're going to use. Of course, like I said, everyone's going to be using a sponge because that's the easiest to do, especially for someone who's just starting out using or wearing makeup. So just get you some kind of sponge and get everything else that I'm going to mention, and you will be fine. You just got to practice with what you got, and then you gradually increase to brushes and certain things, and okay. So anyway, done with the primer. So with the primer, you have to let that sit for at least 2-3 minutes because it has to soak in. It has to do what it's supposed to do. Don't really ask me why. I just know that it helps me if I wait. If I wait and let it sit, it's made my makeup last longer, and it's actually worked. The primer actually works. For a while I was confused because I'm like, primer doesn't really do anything, and I wasn't really wearing primer. But when I started to wear primer, I started to see that my face was more hydrated. I started to see that my makeup did last a little bit longer, and I wasn't having any issues. So you have to make sure you let it set or basically sink into your skin. It's been a couple minutes for me, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. You got to figure out next is your foundation. So I have 3 different options. These are the ones that I like. These are what's in my collection. So this is what I'm showing you in the video. First thing I have is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy Plus Smooth Foundation. I have the Dewy one. Dewy is more of like, not necessarily glowy, but dewy just is like where it looks more natural. It's not like a matte. Matte is for somebody who has like oily skin. So when you pick out your foundation, this is why we go back to the beginning where I said you have to figure out your skin type, because all that leads to everything else you need to buy. So for me, because I'm dry, I have to get like a dewy foundation or a semi-matte or demi-matte, whatever you want to call it. Something that's not super, super drying. Like anything that's like an oil control foundation, I can't use because I have dry skin. So I don't really produce that much oil. I don't really need that. So the first thing, like I said, is Maybelline Fit Me Dewy Plus Smooth Foundation. I'm in the shade 330 Toffee. The next one is Milani's Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation. It's foundation and concealer, and we're going to move on to concealer next. So you'll have instances where some foundations are 2-in-1, where you don't have to really wear a concealer. You could just use this, and you can use it as a concealer and a foundation. If you don't know what concealer is, concealer just basically covers up your dark circles, your pimples. It covers up anything you want to cover up. It brightens for you if you want it to brighten. It depends on what shade you get. It depends on how you apply it. It depends on how your face shape is. But all that is more detailed. You really don't have to worry about it. You figure it out as you go. But basically, concealer is just there to brighten your face and get rid of anything that you are, in a sense, insecure about. So the next foundation is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. And it looks like this. And I am in the shade Toffee Pecan with this one. Also, the Milani one, I didn't say, I'm in the shade 0910. So those are just 3 drugstore options. There's plenty more options. I'm going to try to do like some thorough research or just thorough recommendations down in the description box. So mainly like what you need for sure, or like a bunch of options. Pretty much everything that I like will be down below. So make sure you look down below. But anyway, so you figure out what foundation you need. Figure out what type of foundation you need, because for example with the Fit Me foundation, there's a dewy plus smooth, and then there's like a matte poreless foundation. That one I don't recommend for someone who has dry skin, because it's matte, it's gonna dry you out even more. So I use the dewy one. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my foundation, going back in with that beauty blender like I said that we're gonna need. With the sponge, the reason why I'm recommending a sponge is because it's a sponge, so the sponge is soaking up basically the excess amount of product that's on it. So the reason why I recommend that for people who are beginners is because you're a beginner. You might put too much, you might put too little. So with you having a beauty sponge, you can easily correct your mistakes because you have a sponge, and the sponge is going to soak up most of it. So you won't feel intimidated. You know, if anything, you'll be like, okay, well, I need more coverage, so let me add some more of whatever, and then you can do that. But it's harder to do that if you use like a brush, because once you have a brush, oh my gosh, my eyes are burning. Once you have a brush, it's harder to get rid of like the amount of product if you put too much. So I hope that explains why you need a sponge. Okay, so this is what my face looks like, completely just covered up bare. It looks kind of off, it looks kind of weird because you don't see most of my imperfections. And this is where the next step comes in, concealer. So right now I'm looking a little even, but also like a little sleep, because you can see like around here my eyes look kind of dark, and so that's where concealer comes in. Concealer is going to cover up all that issue there. So concealer is going to basically hide what I have going on up under these eyes and these bags. So I'm using the Colourpop concealer in the shade Dark 40. I use the same concealer to clean up my brows, and I'm literally just putting this up underneath my dark circles. And I'm going to just blend this all over my eyes and underneath my eyes. Sometimes I add a little bit more here, and maybe around my mouth. And that's just to brighten up those areas, because I didn't do something that's called color correcting. Color correcting, if you don't know, is something that like cancels out the darkness in your face. Like for me, color correcting, I would need like an orange stick, because the purple, which is the dark areas, the orange like balances, I don't know, but it like does something where it covers it up and it balances over the dark spots, over the purple dark color. But I didn't color correct. You don't have to do that. That's just an extra step. If you have really dark spots, or you just don't want to use a lot of concealer, you can use a color corrector. If you don't have a full coverage concealer, you can use color corrector. So full coverage, I didn't mention that. So like full coverage is literally everything's full. You don't see anything. You don't see like these few little bumps. Like literally everything is completely covered up. Sheer coverage is where it's just barely covered up. Medium to full is where it's buildable, where you can add on foundation, add on concealer, and build up to full coverage. So those are also 3 different types of coverages. So you got to figure out what works best for you. So with concealer, I like to let it sit just for a couple minutes, because what you really are doing is just blending out the edges. You don't really want to blend all over too crazy. It depends on what kind of look you're going for as well. Me, I'm just teaching you guys, so I'm just trying to do like a really basic, simple makeup look, nothing extravagant. I'm going to go ahead and just blend this out using that same beauty sponge that I said we're using in this whole video. Okay, so now if you look at me, I look more awake. I look more brightened. I look kind of crazy, and the reason why is because we didn't set. So what setting is using this kind of powder. You can use a color powder, you can use a yellow powder, you can use a white powder. It depends on your skin tone. You figure out what works for you. Even though I have dry skin, I can still use powder. I just can't use as much. I can't even talk. I just can't use as much powder as the next person. So for someone who has oily skin, I recommend using a lot of powder. Some people put powder on to set their primer and then foundation. It just depends on the person. Me, I can't do that. I don't need to do that. So I set everything after. So what I'm going to do is set the concealer. And the reason why you set everything is because you don't want it to crease. And I'll explain what that is in a second after I set my concealer. So I'm going to use a Sasha Buttercup setting powder. Anyway, I have this. I think this retails for about $20 as well. This is not drugstore powder, but I do have an alternative. You can use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is a really, really good powder. I think it's like $5.99. It's under $10. I'm not going to use this today because this shade is too dark. This is in the shade Deep, and it was just too dark for me. I could use this maybe to set like my contour. If you don't know what contour is, we're going to get into that in a second. So yes, actually speaking of contour, I'm not going to set my under eyes just yet because I'm about to go in with my contour. And I'll explain why in a second. So the contour I'm going to use is the Makeup Stick by Wet n Wild. It's a contour stick. So what contouring does, it just chisels your cheeks, your nose, your forehead. It covers up your double chin or chins if you have multiple, if you have one, if you have three. I have about 5. Not really. I have like one double chin, but that's okay. And so you just basically use contour to like snatch up your face, literally. It's like surgery, but without actual surgery. So for me, I like to add a little bit more to like my cheekbones because I want them to look a little bit smaller. I hide my double chin. Gotta get that up under the, oh. I like to hide my double chin. Now, you don't really see, the color isn't really noticeable. You can see it if I turn, you can see it. But you don't want something to be like super noticeable. You want it to be like 1 or 2 shades darker than your actual skin tone. Because you don't want people to know you're contouring. It's supposed to kind of look invisible. So this is cream contour. There's powder contour. And that's it. I think it's just cream and powder. I like to cream. Oh, some people go in with foundation. So some people get like a dark foundation and use that as contour. It's kind of like cream contour. It depends on what kind of foundation you get. So you can, in a sense, there's liquid contour, which is like colored foundation that's darker. So you pick which one you like best. I recommend cream contouring because it's a cream. It doesn't, for me, I have dry skin, so all that powder and stuff, it can dry my skin out. For me, I prefer cream contouring. It looks more natural. It's more blended, in my opinion. That's just my technique. That's what I like. So I just chiseled out my cheeks. I put contour above my forehead because I have a 5 head. I want to cover it. And I put contour down here where my chin is to hide my double chin. And then I'm just using the same sponge like I said before. So if you look at me, you can tell like now my face is starting to come together. It's more pulled back, in my opinion. It looks a little bit smaller. My forehead looks smaller versus before. Then this is the point where I now get to setting. Because I have the cream contour going on, I'm going to go ahead and blend out this concealer. Get rid of these creases one more time. And I'm going to use the Sacha Buttercup powder. With the kind of powder that I have, I can just blend the powder into my face. Excuse me. You don't have to dust it off if you don't want to. Ooh. Because the powder I'm using is flashback friendly. So what that means is if I take a picture with the flash on, I'm not going to get like a ghost face. A lot of times certain products will give you like a ghostly looking face when you use like the wrong stuff or like a too bright of a concealer, too bright of a powder. Just, I don't know how to explain it, but you just got to make sure that whatever you pick has like no flashback as far as foundation. Concealer usually doesn't have flashback. It's really just mainly your powder and your foundation that's going to give you that flashback or not. I'll go in depth about that in another video if I have to. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it because I don't want to waste 5 minutes talking about that when I know there's like a bunch of other videos you guys could watch if you want. So I have set that under eye. So then what I like to do is set my contour. So the reason why I do this is because it basically brings out my cheeks, the chiseled cheeks. It brings out the cheeks. It brings out that contour. It just makes everything a little bit more sharp. Now, it's not always even. Like, I think this is higher and this is lower. It's not always even. I try to get it like that, but it doesn't always look like that. That's okay. Okay, this is somewhat decent. I don't know, whatever. And then you're going to look like Santa Claus for a second. It's cool. Don't worry. We're going to dust it off. Okay, so I got powder on my shirt, whatever. So the reason why I like to set everything in place is because throughout the day, we all have fine lines in our face. We all have creases. So throughout the day, if you don't set anything, your face is going to start to fall apart basically. The powder just literally sets everything in place. It's gonna lock it in place, and therefore there's not gonna be any creasing. Sometimes there is, like makeup doesn't last forever, so there's gonna be times where it's like a really long day and you may see creasing at the end of the day, but only at the end of the day, like 8 hours later, you know. So if you don't set it, you just kind of look weird. You look weird. You got concealer that's like in your fine lines, like it's just noticeable. You just look like a cake face, it just is not, it's not attractive. Just please buy you some powder. Just don't even set yourself up like that. Just don't, okay? No, but seriously, don't. And so then you look like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get a brush to dust this off. Like I said, you guys don't need that. You guys can just literally use this. You can blend it in. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. Okay, so I dust off the powder. That leads me to the next step. Now we're almost done. It's really not that much to do. To someone like you probably who doesn't know anything about any of this, it may seem like a lot. Just take everything step by step. Find some tutorials. It's gonna take a while. You're not just gonna know off this one video. You're like, oh, I learned from Curly Rhodes. I know how to do everything. I'm so dramatic. You're not gonna just be like, oh, I learned from Curly Rhodes. I know how to do everything. Boom, done. Let's get it. I'm a makeup guru. No, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's gonna take a while before you really start to see improvement. You're probably gonna look a mess at first. It happens. I mean, I looked a mess when I first started. Sometimes I feel like now, certain videos, I still look a mess. It's all about practice. You just gotta keep going through the motions. So anyway, enough rambling. The next thing you're gonna need is some kind of setting spray. So this is like not the last step, but it can be the last step. So the reason why you need setting spray is because it's like the powder, but it's like a liquid. You want to lock in everything. You want to make it so you don't look cakey. Sometimes powder can make you look cakey, even though the whole point of it is to prevent you from looking cakey and making your makeup last all day. But a lot of times it can do the opposite, but not really. Like, okay, sometimes there's like a cast. So like sometimes there's like a cast of still yellow here even after you dust it off. So when you go in with the spray, you're just literally letting everything melt into your skin and lock it in, so you're not looking crazy. But I do like the way it applies. It does like an even base, so I just do like a one shoot and done. Sometimes you can add more. I'm gonna go in with more to make sure it's all locked in. I wait a second before I open up my eyes because I do not want to get anything in my eye. Most of the time, nothing ever gets in my eye because your eyes are closed. So just give it a second. You let the foundation, concealer, cream contour, you let all that set in, and you'll feel that your face is a little bit wet, and that's just locking in everything. And I have a little bit of creasing on my nose here, so let's try to get that under control, sweets. Okay, so that's just gonna lock in. What I like to do is then go in with highlight. Now, not everybody needs highlight. I recommend everyone should use it because it's popping. It's highlight. Like, who doesn't want to glow forever in their life? But okay, some people don't like all that. Some people use something called blush that has like glitter reflexes in it, and they use that as a highlight as well. But I'll get to that. So highlighter for me is like something that just, when you're in direct sunlight and you turn, the high points of your face is where you should apply highlighter. If you don't know what your high points of your face or where they are, I recommend going outside. Literally go outside. It's summertime right now. It's hot as hell, so you can go outside and turn your face. You can record yourself on Snap, whatever. Just don't post it because you're probably gonna look crazy. But and you just see where the sun is hitting you and where your high points are. For me, I already know. Most people's are right here, your upper cheekbone, right here, tip of your nose, the bridge of your nose, your lip, your chin. Sometimes these angles right above your forehead, right above your eyebrows, I'm sorry. So for me, I highlight here, 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 and sometimes here, and a little here, but rarely. Because I only did the powder on one side, I'm going to make sure I flip it. And you can also use the butt of the beauty blender, or you can use the tip. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do like this and like put pressure down, and I'm just going to tap into this highlighter. And you can see it, but you really can't see it, and that's the point. It's going to be subtle. The highlighter that I'm using is called the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter in the shade 100 Molten Gold. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply the highlighter, and I will turn so you guys can see what it looks like. Now, looking straight forward, you're not going to see it as much, and that's okay. It's supposed to kind of be like that. But when you turn, boom, that's when you're supposed to see the highlight. It's supposed to shock the world, literally. Well, maybe not the world, but whoever's looking at you. Then I just like get the side of the sponge and I just blend everything together just to make sure it's not harsh. So when I turn, you can see the highlighter. When I turn, you can see it. When I look forward, you can see the bridge of my nose. Sometimes you'll see people have like really intense highlighter. I don't recommend doing that, especially if you don't know anything about highlighter. But what happens is throughout the day, my highlighter usually ends up going away. So when you first step out, if you want to put a little more than usual, I don't see anything against it. Just don't overdo it. Like if you want to put a little bit more, you can, because it's eventually going to melt into your skin, so you won't really be able to see it. Then the last two things is some kind of lip combination and mascara. I'm going to go ahead and put on some mascara. I got two options for you. They're both by Maybelline. One is the Colossal Big Shot Mascara, and then this one is the Falsies Push Up Angel Mascara. So these are two different kind of mascaras, both in the shade like black, I think. This one has this kind of wand. The Big Shot looks like this. And that just helps to like really get your top lashes, in my opinion. And then you have something with this kind of applicator, which is the Falsies applicator. I really like this one because it really gets each little hair, and as far as like my bottom lashes. But when I put on my lashes or my mascara, you'll see a big difference. You're gonna be like, girl, hey, yes, you doing it? Maybe not. Okay, I'll be right back. So boom, your girl got on her mascara, you feel me? The only thing I got left is my lips. I'm gonna do a pop of red today because I didn't do eyeshadow and I just feel like being cute. I'm using the NYX Suede Downtown Beauty lip liner. I really love this lip liner. So you can use lip gloss or you cannot. Okay, so this is my finished look. So let me explain, because I forgot. I just got too busy into my lip. So when you wear lip gloss or lipstick, sometimes you need a lip liner. Lip liner is just literally this cream, color cream that goes around your lips, and it kind of mixes in with whatever lip gloss or lipstick you put on your lips. Sometimes lip liners make the lipstick look better. Sometimes it makes it wear like really like bright colors. I can wear them, but it doesn't always look right without a lip liner. I would go in with a lip liner to mix in the brown and whatever that color is, to like then form like a more toned down, same color but just more toned down and like more blendable for my skin shade. It doesn't matter what color you are, you can wear whatever lipstick you want to wear. It's just sometimes it doesn't always look right. So this is literally my look, I guess. This is hopefully educational. Hopefully you guys learned everything. Quick recap of everything. You're gonna need to figure out your skin type. You're gonna need to figure out what kind of primer you want to use. You're gonna need to figure out what kind of foundation you're gonna use, what kind of concealer, what shade as far as foundation and concealer, what kind of contour if you want to contour, and what kind of highlighter, what kind of setting spray, what kind of mascara, what kind of lip liner, and what kind of lip. You can also use something called blush. I did not mention that in this video because I don't really wear blush like that. I do have like one Morphe, literally one Morphe blush palette, and I've put blush on before like once, and it was cute but didn't really last. So I'm like, what's the point? I don't know. Some people really like blush. I don't really care for it, so that's just me. But hopefully you guys, like I said, learned something. If I left anything out, let me know down below. I will be constantly checking my comments for like the next month in this video, because I want to make sure if you have any questions, you understand and I'm able to answer them. Also, if you DM me or you said something to me on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever about like makeup in general and I didn't answer it in this video, just let me know down below and I'll make sure to definitely respond to you. You can DM me, Snapchat me, tweet me, whatever. I'll make sure I respond. Everything is curly roads, everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for spending this time with me. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I feel like it's going to be about an hour long, but hopefully it wasn't. And if you enjoyed it and if you like this look, you know what I'm saying, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Thank you again so much for watching. I'm still on the road I'm still on the road to 1K. I'm so grateful for all of you guys. I'm going to be trying to post more videos more frequently. I'm going to post a video at least once a week. Usually in the morning. I don't have a set day yet. I had Tuesdays, but I wasn't posting on the regular on Tuesdays, so I just stopped doing that. So yeah, so I hope you guys, I can't even talk. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video. Check out my other videos. They weren't this long. They weren't as educational. Something in my nose. I'm not digging in it. So yeah, that's your girl Curly Rose in the building. Curly Rose in the building. Curly Rose in the building. That's gonna be my new intro. Thank you. Gotta go. Bye.